and receiving all the monthly plaques and the yearly plaques and trophies. And I told my wife, once I retire, I'm going to make a plaque house. But I didn't do that. I threw a lot of those away and kept the really important ones, the national awards that I won. But again, you know, to me it was easy. I love helping people solve their pest control problems, termite, bed bug, and I was able to do all that and get paid very well to do what I did. So, you know, it was a career that I finally turned it over to my son. He runs a company now, and my 2 grandsons work for him. And I thought about going back and helping a little bit, but you know, I got to sooner or later finally retire. And January 1st of last year, so it's been a year now I've been retired, I did turn it over to him. He's doing very well. Company is prospering. To me, it was such an important thing to leave a legacy for my kids and my grandkids, and to see how that is all worked out has been very rewarding to me. Not many people get to do that. So again, God bless me with my abilities. He gets the glory for everything I do. Whether it be hiking, biking, whatever, he gets the glory, because without him, we can't do any of this stuff. So, you know, when I was younger, I did some dangerous things, as we all did as kids. We just didn't think about some of the things that could happen when you're doing things, and you just don't think about it. Think you're invincible. But as I learned over the years, the older I got, that's not true. You really have to take care of your body, eating properly, which that's the hard part to me, is portion control. My wife's a great cook. She don't like to cook, but she's really good. She's a Southern cook. But I remember when the kids left the house, we were sitting in our recliner one day, and she just looked at me and she goes, "You know what? You can sell the stove now." I go, "What do you mean sell the stove?" She says, "Well, the kids left the house. We don't need it anymore." I said, "Well, I still got to eat." And so I learned to take up a little bit of cooking and help her out around the kitchen. You know, we have our little roles at home. I'll be married in 50 years coming this May 6th to, you know, a woman that was my childhood sweetheart. So it was a 50 years, you know, you struggle with your raising your kids financially. Really did need a bigger house when they were younger, but we couldn't afford it. But now that we can afford it, we don't need it or want it. I live in a little 960 square foot house with a little patio enclosure on the back, which I call my man cave, and that's all I need. You know, you can't take anything with you, and you know, you just enjoy life and make yourself comfortable to get through, and to be able to live on, basically now we're on Social Security, so we can live strictly off our Social Security checks. You know, it's nice to have additional money in the bank where you can kind of live a little more comfortable. Not saying we're rich by no means, because we're not. But my wife, as frugal as she is, she's really helped me not make some really bad decisions in my lifetime. You know, when you're working and you can afford stuff, oh, I'd like to have the new this and the new that, and it's all good to have. I'm not saying, you know, you shouldn't be able to afford it or buy it. But after you get that home, whether it be a new truck, new car, boat, time you get it home, the excitement wears off. It's just like, now I got all these payments I got to make on this, if you decide to finance whatever. So you know, you do all that, and it gets old quick like everything else. But to me, getting out like this and to enjoy the outdoors is just priceless. This is free stuff. And to be able to see nature at its coldest time of year, which you can see there's a lot of snow on the ground right here. And then not many things out today as far as birds and stuff. It's kind of odd. There's that prairie little section I was telling you about that a lot of people like to walk around that alone. But up here, I'm gonna come into the woods finally. There's a little sign up here. It's got a little red or orange marker that takes us into the woods. And from there, it's probably about 2 miles, I think, to get back into the open area I get into, and then to finish the trail. I probably went about 6 or 7 tenths right now on my hike. Actually, my watch says that I've been 0.64. I knew this point was pretty close to 7. Probably coming up on a mile here when I get into the woods a little bit. And I'm probably only going to do maybe a 1.5 mile, 2 mile hike today. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on my knee. It's feeling pretty good right now, but you don't want to have that thing swell up on you and then be home icing it every day to get the swelling back down again. But I went and seen my doctor and Friday of this past week, and he said like I said, I sprained my MCL, and I can still do what I do. He said, you know, there's no limitations on what I'm doing. So today I decided, you know, I'm just going to do a little hiking, video it, show people the enjoyable thing that, you know, a lot of people do. I'm not saying I'm an avid hiker. I'm not an Appalachian trail hiker by no means. My sister and I thought about that back in 2014. We were still in our early 60s, mid 60s, and I got to thinking to myself, well, Carol, we're not ready for that, or will we ever be ready for the Appalachian Trail? That's a young person's hike. Not saying there's not older people do it, but that takes experience. That takes experience, that takes endurance. You got to be really prepped for that. Be prepared to stay at the stayovers they have on the trails. Here I'm getting ready to walk into the trail. Finally into the wooded area, shall I say. As you can see, there's been quite a few people in here since it snowed about 3 days ago. And we probably got about 4 to 5 inches of snow, which to me is plenty. As far as I'm concerned, you know, when you live in Ohio, this just goes with it. But I would like to see no snow, and I'd be happy. I can maybe be a snowbird, move south or move out west in the winter time, but my wife don't want any part of it. She don't even really like the vacation. She got to go on some of the trips with me when I was working, and she enjoyed them, but her favorite place is to be home. That's vacation to her. Rather be sitting on her front porch reading a book, reading her Kindle. To her, that is very enjoyable, and I get that. So we don't travel a whole lot. A lot of people, that's all they want to do is travel. But I'm okay with my lot in life as far as getting out and doing the things I like to do. My wife don't like to hike or ride the bike, but that's okay. She's got other hobby interests she does. She likes to sew, and she does like to cook some things. Like last night, we had some shucky beans. I don't know if you've heard of those. They're, people call them leather britches, where when we pick them out of the garden, she strings them up through a needle, and then she'll have strings that are 4 and 5 feet long, nothing but green beans. So I hang them in the shed till they totally dry out, and then you freeze them. So yesterday my wife asked me if I wanted some shucky beans. I said sure. So I got about a bag and a half out of the freezer in the garage, and we had those for dinner last night. And then we threw a little bit of salt pork in it, a little bit of meat, and that's really good stuff. Now, her being the southerner she is, she likes to eat cornbread with it. Me, I kind of like Jiffy Mix cornbread, but I'm a hillbucky. I'm not a hillbilly. That's a hillbilly and a buckeye. But she likes regular cornbread. Never did like the taste of that stuff. I don't like regular biscuits and things like that. It just don't give me satisfaction as far as eating. But those shucky beans were good last night. We're going to have them again for dinner tonight. And that's some of the stuff that she really likes to eat. She's, like I said, she's a great southern cook. She just don't like cooking, and I guess you're either born with that. You either like it or you don't. So as you can see how beautiful this is in here. All these fallen trees with the snow on it. And I see deer prints over there where deer are going back and forth. I think there may be some deer prints right here. And you can see where they've been around the tree here. But